front. And we're going to show you two ways of doing it. So today we want to look at the guess and check method, and we want to look at the AC method. I might teach you differently than how your teacher taught you, and if that's the case, I apologize, but I'm going to do my very best to help you out here. I love the guess and check method, and that's what I do 99% of the time. I find factors of 2x squared, which are 2x and x, and then I find factors of -8, which are -8 and 1, or -1 and 8, or -2 and 4, or -4 and 2. And I place my 2x and my x because those are the only possibilities. But the fact is that I can only just guess and check to try to come up with the rest. So for example, maybe I try a -2 and a +4. Suppose I were to try -2 and +4. The way I check to see if that's correct is I know the first part definitely gives me a 2x squared, and the last part gives me a -8. But what about the inside and the outside? And we did that together, and we saw we got a -2x and a +8x. Does that give me my -15x? Absolutely not. So some of you may have a little bit stronger number sense, and I'm going to show you some tricks here. But if you notice a 15, that's a bigger number. So maybe we want to choose the 8 and the 1. And that way I could get to a number close to -15 if I have 2 times -8 is -16, and then a +1 there. And if you check the inside and the outside, we have a +1x and we have a -16x, and that does make my -15x. So that is my guess and check method. Good? I want to show you the AC method. AC method refers to taking this number out front and multiplying it here. So watch my step. I'm going to take 2 times the -8, and I'm going to get a different trinomial, x squared minus 15x minus 16. Now, I just kind of performed a little magic trick. I just got rid of the 2 altogether. You can't just get rid of the 2. I mean, it's got to come back at some point. Everybody agree I'm going to have to bring that 2 back later on? Yeah. Okay. Well, it turns out that this guy factors right here. It factors to x minus 16 and x plus 1. Are we okay with that? Mm-hmm. So I got rid of the 2, so I bring it back in. I put it here, and I put it here. And to finish it off, I say, are 2 and 16 divisible by the same number? They're both divisible by 2. So divide it, and you get x minus 8. 2 and 1 are not divisible by the same number, so you just have 2x plus 1. Is that the same thing I had on the other side? It absolutely is. So you can choose which method. You can choose guess and check, or you could choose the AC method. Okay. I'm going to choose 2 more problems. I'm going to give you guys a couple of tricks along the line here. I have an 8x squared, so I have either 8x and 1x, or I have 4x and 2x. And I have a 3 on the end. And I know it's either going to be +3 and +1, or it's going to be -3 and -1. Can somebody tell me, is it going to be +3 and +1, or -3 and -1? Because they have to add up to negatives, it's going to be the -3 and the -1. I'm going to try the 4x and the 2x. I'm going to start with a -1 and a -3. -2x, -12x. Does that give me the -10x? No. So let's try the same thing, but let's switch them. Let's try a -3 and a -1. So this time the 3 is paired with the 2 and the 1 is paired with the 4 in the multiplying process. And as you see here, I get a negative 6x and a negative 4x. Does that give me the negative 10x? It now does. And this is factored correctly. Let's review how you do it using the AC method. I take 8 times 3, and I get x squared minus 10x plus 24. That does factor. What are the two numbers that multiply to 24 that add to negative 10? Yeah, minus 6 and minus 4. What's the number I got rid of? 8. I'm going to bring it on back. And now I just look to see what both are divisible by. What are 8 and 6 both divisible by? So we get 4x minus 3. And here we get 2x minus 1 because they're both divisible by 4. What method do you think you like better? A lot of people say the AC method, but be careful, okay? And I'll show you why. Look at the next one. Suppose you try the AC method. You get x squared minus 25x minus 54. You start to see the risk of using the AC method. What can happen to the last number? It could get really, really big. 54 isn't even that bad. On your assignment, you might come up with some examples where that last number could be in the hundreds. And it's all of a sudden a little bit more challenging. We can still work this out. 54, I happen to notice that, yep, 9 times 6. But I also remember 27 and 2. And so as you see here, 27 and 2 is correct. And I know that you could take it from there. What I would rather do is I'd rather show you another strategy that I think many people have not figured out before, okay? And this is really important. Look at this middle number. This can really tell you a lot. This middle number is odd, right? And what's interesting is the middle number comes from adding two others together, right? An even plus an even is even. An odd plus an odd is even. It's only when you have an even plus an odd that you get an odd, right? So we have to come up with an odd number, and those come from multiplying. The only way to get an odd number from multiplying is to have an odd times an odd, right? An even times an even is even. An odd times an even is even. It's only when you get an odd times an odd. So I'm going to look for odd factors here. So do you think I want 6x and 1x or 3x and 2x? Yeah, there is an odd number with the 1x, but I'm going to try the 3x and the 2x. And then I have 9. So I want negative 9 and positive 1, or positive 9 and negative 1. I suppose I could choose negative 3 and positive 3, or I could choose, And we have to get to a number close to 25. So which one do you think I want? I'm going to try to use this plus 1 and minus 9. And watch how this works out. I get a positive 2x here. We knew that that was an even, but an odd times an odd gives you that odd number. And that helps create the odd number in the middle. Now on this one, I probably did a bad example because there's lots of combinations that, kind of lend you to ideas that they might work. But the key is to get an odd times an odd. And so that is in its factored form right there. So I don't care which method you use. You can use guess and check. You can use the AC method. It's entirely up to you. What I'd like you to do is take out your homework and go to this worksheet that Alexia has. Okay? And it's factoring ax squared plus bx plus c. There are 9 problems on the front and 4 on the back. And you can factor them, use whichever method you like, and I will put that answer key up on the board.